Hello everyone, welcome to this, and it's all about the DLC pack, WWE 14 DLCs, and I'm gonna review the packs that came out a couple of months ago. I've decided to do a review of these. I haven't done an official review of the actual game WWE 2K14, but decided to go ahead and do the pack reviews. This first pack that I'm showing is the NWO pack, which was DLC pack 1 for WWE 2K14. And as you can see there, 6, who was known as Six in the NWO, the New World Order in WCW. And he was one of the members, one of the 7 or 8 members that came in on the pack. There's the Macho Man, Randy Savage, the King of the Madness. He came in as a NWO member in the NWO pack as well. Of course, other versions of the Macho Man in the game, but this is the NWO version, and it's pretty good. Macho Man is well covered in WWE 2K14 because there's versions of him from every era, really. But the Macho Man in WWE 2K14, the NWO pack, is really cool. Even the entrances, it's so lifelike there, as you can see. Excellent footage here for you all for the YouTube CKTV. I think Macho Man, it's safe to say, is one of the greats, one of the best ever in wrestling. And this is, of course, in the WrestleMania 18 arena. It's not a WCW arena. I meant to put it in a WCW arena, but unfortunately, we're just working with this right now. It's the WrestleMania 18 arena, and we're going to have it as a 6-man Hell in a Cell, so we will not include the Giant in this particular stream. As you can see now, here comes, as he was known in WCW, Big Sexy Kevin Nash. And he was cool. He was known in WWF as Big Daddy Cool Diesel beforehand, and then he came to WCW when the whole thing happened at Bash at the Beach, 1996, before all that. Of course, they came over in May 96, but it led up to that big Hogan turning on the fans and stuff at Nash and Hall. But this is the NWO version of Kevin Nash. And was he a big name back then? Big time. He was one of the greats. And he still is known well. He's still in at the odd time, makes appearances. But I think it's safe to say that Nash is probably one of the coolest big men. He is the coolest big man in wrestling, over 7 foot tall, and really, he's the coolest. The way he really laid back kind of guy, you know what I mean? Brilliant. I think the NWO pack they really went to town on it. A lot of people don't like the fact that WWE 12 had so many WCW aspects to it, and arenas and wrestlers, but WWE 13 then didn't really have any WCW. It just had the reference to the Monday Night Wars and Nitro and stuff, Nitro versus Raw. Whereas this year for 2K14, they give us the NWO pack, they give us Goldberg, they give us many WCW people, but not any of the arenas. But we can make the arenas on the created arena mode, which is a big help. Here comes, formerly known as Mr. Perfect in the WWF, Curt Hennig. He was known as in WCW. He had a brief stint with the Four Horsemen, and then turned his back on Ric Flair and went with the NWO. And there is, of course, Curt Hennig. Another legend, but another legend that died too young. He died at 43, I believe. And it was in 2003. He had made a big comeback to the WWF, taking on Austin, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and many others on his return. on his returns, and he died in February or March 2003, I understand. It was a very sad thing to happen. A drug overdose, I believe. And now here comes Scott Hall, recently cleaning up his act and under the tutelage of DDP. And there he is as part of the NWO Black and White in this game. And there's also versions, don't forget, of Hall and Nash in their Wolfpack slash Outsiders attires. So that's pretty cool as well. The NWO pack really is a great, great pack. There's a really laid back kind of an entrance there from Hall. Really cool indeed. I would say you could say he was one of the better of the NWO. He was one of the ones that really, they give him the ball a lot, and he really ran with it, because he really had a lot of good storylines and stuff. Similar, very similar. He used the same, a lot of the same mannerisms and stuff as he did as Razor Ramon in his previous WWF life, but he really took a lot of other things to the table as Scott Hall, which I thought was interesting. He kept the same finishing move and stuff, but he changed up his image a wee bit, I think. Scott Steiner now, Big Papa Pump comes in, and he's, of course, another member of the NWO Black and White in this game. Hollywood Hogan, another member, as is the Giant. There's about 8 members altogether in the game, and Hogan definitely was a big part of the NWO Black and White. It's amazing how much they were loved, because they were brought in as a heel faction in WCW, but they became fan favourites then because the fans really liked the idea and the concept of the badasses, and you know, turning Hogan and stuff was initially a big shock and people hated it, but they eventually really liked it because it was revolutionary and it was what's old is now new again kind of thing, which is a good concept, I believe. Scott Steiner there, Big Pop Pump, flexing the muscles and stuff. And now we go into the actual game. Here it is, Hell in a Cell, what we could call, I suppose, we could call this War Games. And it was, of course, the time when NWO split up, and it was the Wolfpack and the Black and White Hollywood, NWO Hollywood. So I suppose you could call this the War Games between the two. Take away the WrestleMania logo there and you're sorted. But there is great facilities to make your own arenas, and I've got a lot of WCW arenas in this game. I've downloaded a lot of ones that the great community, the wrestling community and Wwe 2K14 community have made. And brilliant, great stuff here. Nash and Hall are known as the Outsiders. Numerous occasions they were WCW Tag Team Champions. They were, of course, they're both known, along with Six, who was known as the 1-2-3 Kid previously in WWF, and then he became known as X-Pac when he left WCW in '98 and went back to the WWF. But in that famous Mania after the night, or the famous Night After Mania episode of Monday Night Raw, or Raw's War, he came back as X-Pac, replacing Shawn Michaels and DX. I think, apart from Ravishing Rick Rude, X-Pac was the only guy who was in both DX and in the NWO. But, of course, Shawn Michaels was as well, but it was the watered-down NWO in WWE. Of course, as you may recall, not as Six, but as X-Pac, Sean Waltman came back as an NWO member in 2002 when they done the watered-down version. And in that time, he actually replaced Hogan, so he replaced both leaders. That was interesting as well. This is the NWO pack, and this is one of these very, very good packs. The first time, when I got this pack back in November, I played it for a long time, made all the big storylines and stuff, and I even went back and looked. There's a great sequence of shows on YouTube, a sequence of videos by somebody. They put it up, and it's all about the NWO right from day one when Hall was coming into the WCW arenas as an outsider up until the end of the NWO. And it's a really good sequence of videos. You should check them out. Check it out on YouTube. Type in the NWO history of the NWO. You'll get it. As far as the NWO, DLC Pack 1, really good, and well worth getting if you have the game and you never bothered getting it. I would advise you to get it out. Well, I don't have footage of it, but I'm going to talk now about DLC Pack 2. In DLC Pack 2, you get 14 more Superstar heads. No, actually you don't. Sorry. In DLC Pack 2, you get a moves pack, and you get loads of extra moves for different wrestlers, which is pretty cool. That was one of the big factors of it. And then you got 2 Divas and 2 current WWE Superstars. The current one's Big E Langston, and of course, the other one was the new guy, Fandango. And you also get Summer Rae, and you also get the 2 Divas from the Bella sisters, the Bella twins. You get them as well, Nikki and Brie Bella. So they are the DLC. It's an okay DLC pack. I wouldn't be too big into it, but I like playing as Big E Langston the odd time, and I like playing as Fandango the very odd time. But and I find the Divas good for storylines as well, if Ric Flair needs a few women around him or something. How's it going, everyone? Back here now, and I'm here to talk about my favourite and most anticipated DLC pack before the game was made, and it was when it was announced back in August. This DLC pack back in August or September, this was announced, and it is the Legends and Creations, the WWE Legends and Creations DLC pack. And as you can see there, the first of the legends, Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream. He's funky like a monkey. Yes, he is the American Dream. He was the man who created most of the stuff in WCW that made it watchable, yeah. Dusty Rhodes, as you can see there, the American Dream, the polka dots and all. That's the first time, anytime they made Dusty Rhodes before for a sim game or even the Legends game a few years ago, they give him the WCW or NWA look, and I am quite happy to see that they give him the polka dots look that he had in the WWF when he came in '89, and he was there in 1991. But as you can see there, Bruno Sammartino, known as the living legend in WWF in the 1970s and 80s, and he was one of the real old legends in the game. And they're playing here in a strange arena, probably a made-up arena. This is in my footage. I took this footage from the internet, but it's my commentary, and I have the game here, so I just thought it was more convenient. I didn't have to record it. Now there is a problem with my recorder, so that's why I like to take a bit of footage here and there, you know, and put my own hook on it. As you can see there, Dusty doing his signature. This DLC pack is really fun. I got it there last week, and I've had fun playing with it. Dusty Rhodes with some cool moves there, like true to life. You know, it helps when they don't add moves on with wrestlers, because it really gets that old school feel as well, playing as Dusty Rhodes. And then Bruno Sammartino, very plain looking, but that was the style back in the early 80s, the late 70s, early 80s. There wasn't much colour or stuff at that stage. That only came in the rock and roll MTV era in the mid 80s, and then of course the WrestleMania era. So Dusty took that one. Now we're moving on to modern times and in a modern times arena. But as you can see, it's actually a Royal Rumble arena. But as you can see, Virgil is the one we're focusing on here now. He was a big part of the DLC. He was the extra kind of incentive. Virgil was free when you bought the third pack. As you know, you could buy all the packs in a fan access deal. You can still do that, I think. And now we see Ravishing Rick Rude and Jake the Snake Roberts, and they are two big versions of them as well. Rude's attire is where he met the Ultimate Warrior, the pink attire from WrestleMania 5, and Jake's attire is from WrestleMania 8. So it makes you think that they might have been going for them matches in WrestleMania mode, but get a load of this. This is where he gets the snake and he puts it over his opponent at the end of his matches, which is pretty cool. But as you may know, if you're a follower of these wrestling games, you will know that particular animation was used, that exact animation was used in Legends of WrestleMania in 2009. So it's a revamped animation, but it's worth having in there because that's what happened a lot of the time after his matches. And there's Virgil against Y2J Chris Jericho. I think Jericho was just used as a guinea pig here. And Virgil was pretty cool. Look at this. This is so cool. Whoa, I don't know if he ever done that in real life, but there you go. DiBiase's outside, but he never managed Virgil. Come on. Virgil was the bodyguard for DiBiase in the 80s, and the early 90s, but turned on him at Royal Rumble 91, you may recall. A lot of fun, this DLC pack, as I said. Also, you get with this particular DLC, as you can see there, Rude and the Warrior. I don't know why they keep putting them in modern arenas, but must be a lack of interest in arenas from this fan, whoever's doing this game. I will put up a video later on down the line where my actual review of WWE 2K14, which is coming very soon, I will put up a lot of old school arenas and a lot of WCW style arenas, and whatever era I'm playing as, I'll have them in their arenas, because I don't like this swapping over. A lot of people love the fantasy element of playing them in these arenas and blah blah blah, but I really love keeping it to history, you know what I mean? You have to say, it really is a brilliant game. Great graphics nowadays for these games, and you really can create your own world in it with the universe. The new universe is unbelievable. In my preview videos you would have seen that as well. Some great stuff you can do now. The replay of the Rude Awakening, he called that, the variation of the neck breaker. That was his version, or his Ravishing Rick Rude. And now you can see his winning animation. Okay, enough of that. He of course was against the Warrior at Royal Rumble 89 in a super pose down, and that's what got their big rivalry started when Rude cheated. And then you can see in this pack as well the superstar heads, and it's loads of extra superstar heads, 14 more along with the 14 that were in the game anyway. And in this one it includes Mankind, Kane, Goldberg in his WCW attire, and it also includes Batista, different heads for The Undertaker, Triple H, and The Miz as well, among others, Ryback included. Goldberg's one is the one that I particularly wanted, although I still have to put him in his WCW attire in that WCW era save that I have. I've got so many saves, and I like to play the WWF ones more, because especially since the new DLC 3 came out, so that's why I haven't put Goldberg in as a second attire for that particular head, that superstar head. Really fun game. Definitely one of the best I've played and it's hard to know, it's hard to say what's the best wrestling game if you're such a big fan of wrestling, but it's hard to beat this one, definitely. WWF, or WWE 2K14 has everything, and the DLC packs have been revolutionary. The one thing that annoys me is the Boss Man, Big Boss Man, and Hacksaw Jim Duggan were supposed to be on this, but I don't know what happened with that. They must have had contractual disagreements or something, because it didn't happen in the end up. But anyway, folks, I'm out of here. I have to go. Hope you enjoy my DLC pack reviews.